Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sarah Jane, your hostess, and this is the second in Gift of Healing TV's Intuitive Healing Channels programs. And tonight I am delighted to welcome Sheila Maria, who is sharing with us, and guess what? I've scrolled my piece of paper down so I can't see. Living your life purpose with the angels. And we've been talking about the angels, so I should have remembered that. So let me introduce Sheila Maria to you. Sheila Maria is an international author, speech channel, and clairvoyant based in Lincolnshire, UK. Her journey into the world of energy began 9 years ago when her small son was born, quiet and still, but with no obvious symptoms. She listened to the voices she heard, who told her everything was not well, and she took him straight to hospital, where they found he was in a coma with 20 minutes to live. Her son Michael, after the voice she heard, had a rare and terminal heart condition which threatened his life a further two times. Sorry, I couldn't see the two for a minute. 2 times. Each time Sheila was pre-warned and steps were taken to ensure his welfare. He is now 9 and healthy. Sheila works as a clairvoyant coach with conscious practitioners and people from all over the world, teaching them to pay attention to their intuition and to step into their power. Her speciality is helping people recognize their life purpose and healing barriers that prevent them from living this now. Sheila prides herself on being real, and I can vouch for that. The conversations we have are great, and if not quite normal, certainly down to earth. She lives with her 2 younger children, a husband, her black cat, white rabbit, and yes, her wolf-like Malamute as well. Sheila advocates you being the person who knows best, and if you would like to know more about training with Sheila, we'll give you her website address at the end, because we don't want you to go looking at it now. We'd like you to listen to the program. So Sheila, welcome to the program.
Hey Sarah, it's amazing to be with you. How are you?
We're keeping well here, and you're keeping well there, and we hope all of you are keeping well out there too.
Absolutely.
Sheila, I know we've shared a little in your bio about your son, but tell us a little more of your story and the fact that you listened to those voices and that you trusted those voices.
So I think the first thing I'll say is that anybody that's ever known me will know that talking, not listening, is my thing. And so I wasn't in the habit of listening to anyone or anything. And you know, to begin with, it was a feeling. I wasn't a clairvoyant when this happened. I didn't bang my head and wake up hearing disembodied voices. I hadn't had any clairvoyant experiences since I was a child. So, you know, I don't identify with being a spirit medium. I only identify with being a channel. And it's something that all of us are able to do. And for me, it started off as a feeling which, like so many of us, I ignored. Logic getting the better of me because Michael had no symptoms. I also had no proof for the feeling I was getting. I'd never had a situation like this. And when I referred this to the people around me, including the medical, it was the midwife that comes to see you when you've had a baby, he had no symptoms. So there was nothing to suggest that there was anything wrong with him. And I think the other thing that I will say is that although this sounds a bit biblical, it didn't stop happening after Michael's life was saved. My life went to ruin. My marriage broke down. I ended up in a homeless refuge. Nobody's fault, just one of those things. And, you know, throughout what was a very dark time, I've got to be honest with you, I would have given up if I didn't have those voices telling me that there was a plan. I didn't know what it was. I had no clue. You know, the lapsed Catholic didn't have an inkling. And I think that the reason I'm sat here today is because angels are a nice idea, but when you've got money problems, relationship problems, where you don't know where you're going to sleep tonight, when you don't know how you're going to pay your rent, when you don't know whether your benefits are going to come through, when you don't know whether that lump that you found is anything to worry about, these are all real scenarios that people around the world are having. And the angels are a very practical resource. And, you know, my son is living proof of that.
Yeah, absolutely. There are so many people, and we can ask the help. That's just it. The angels are there. We may not get the answers we think we want, but we will get the answers that are the right ones. And it isn't about sitting back and waiting. It is about helping yourself make things happen. You know, sort of, so thank you sort of for sharing that. Now, obviously, we are talking about living your life purpose with the angels. But let's go into what those words life purpose means first. Share with us, please.
Okay, so, you know, people think their life purpose happens when they've sorted out all the not very nice bits. They think it's, you know, they're here to save the world or record a song that's going to outsell Band-Aid, or, you know, marry the man of their dreams and, you know, set up an orphanage somewhere. The truth is your life purpose is happening today, and there's many components of that, and the less attractive qualities are actually the most important doorways to understanding what your life purpose is. So, you know, going back to some of the experiences I had I not understood what it's like to have no money and no idea when it's coming, I wouldn't have known how to manifest money. Had I not had you know, a series of rocky relationships, and I've got all the t-shirts, I wouldn't have known how to manifest my Mr. Right. And yes, his name is Mr. Right. So your life purpose is occurring with the problems that you're wanting to make disappear. And the reason that those problems are so vital is if you were a vibrational match to the outcomes that you do deserve and those outcomes that you want, you would already have them. And the stepping stones are the issues that you're wanting the angels to solve. So, you know, very rightly, when people have got a shortage of money, or they have, you know, a desire to connect with their angels, but they don't know how they can do that, those are the doorways to healing your beliefs around lack, i.e. getting more money coming to you, and setting up a routine to connect with the angels, and therefore getting your own guidance and helping others. If you've got a health issue and you would love to be a healer, but you can't because you've got fibromyalgia or something, or you've got a health story which limits you, then working with energy, it doesn't have to be angels, it can be working with your higher self. It's going to give you the connection to make those choices which will allow your story to change, and that's when the next stage of your life purpose comes in.
To me, all the bad stuff is what makes you who you are. It's
Yes.
it's a part of that journey. If I hadn't had the things that had happened to me, if they hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be doing this program. I wouldn't be talking to you with the listeners that we've got listening to us, because we've got people here. So please say hi if you want to. We wouldn't be here doing this without the experiences we've had. as somebody said to me, you never know when you're being lucky. Some of the worst things that appear to happen to you can actually be the best things to ever happen to you. And I know that from experience. You know, when you find yourself on the other side, it's don't stop and go back. Don't try and go round it. It's continue through it. It is a part of the journey. It is part of your purpose. And hi to, is that Gio and to Charles. Hi folks, lovely to have you here. So absolutely, your life purpose is about what's going on in your life and the experiences you're having so that you can share with others.
And anyone that works with me will know I start doing like this because Michael's with me and he's chittering away. He says, regret nothing, accept everything. And, you know, it's very easy for a disembodied cloud of blue to say, accept everything. But I had something happen to me. I'm ever surreal. I don't hide a thing. I had a financial crisis just before Christmas. And, you know, Michael said to me, accept it. And of course, the human in me said, what? How can I accept this? And he said, Sheila, do it. So after much chuffing and puffing, I accepted it. When you accept the untenable and the unwanted, and most people have around 20 beings on their spiritual team. These are not just angels. These are guides, elementals, ascended masters. If you're me, you have fairies, you name it. They will then come into your auric field. They come down your divine line, they stand in your aura, and when you accept something, they flood the situation with healing. And, you know, Michael's saying now, when you've got a problem, it's a bit like a detective looking for the gun while standing at the scene of the crime. You're not going to find the answer whilst you're in the middle of the swamp. By accepting it and going away, and if you're me, I clean my toilet an awful lot when I'm in one of those places. I've got the cleanest toilet in the world. That is when your angels, because your auric energy softens and it's like a doorway opens. And if you can imagine a delivery from the post office, and the door is shut, so he can't bring you your parcel. If you accept the untenable, the doorway can open and it will sort itself out. The biggest thing we can do when we've got a problem is relax about it, have a couple of glasses of Pinot Grigio or Guinness, whatever your tipple is, but laughing aside, allow the beings that are with you, allow your higher self, if that's what you believe in, allow them to do what they're best at, because you won't solve it whilst your knickers are in a twist, which is what Michael says to me every day.
And the truth is you don't. You won't solve anything like that because you're too close to it. And it's step back. I've had stuff going on, you know, we've all had stuff going on, you know, and it's just like, no. And it was like, no, I am not going to do this immediately. I'm going to step back from this. I am going to allow myself to allow the energies of this. If it doesn't feel right, whatever it is, because if there are other people involved, doesn't feel right, okay, can I come up with some really nice wording so that I'm not deliberately going out to offend people, because I wouldn't do that. But we all stand that risk when we turn around and say no to somebody of them taking offense.
Yeah.
And that's their issue, it's not ours. But by stepping back, by going off, I love going for a walk. I just go for a walk, get myself outdoors in the fresh air, and that's when a lot of answers come to me.
Yes, yes.
It's trusting being in nature, because you allow the angels, the dragons, the whoever, you shut your mind up, you take yourself out of it, and then you allow the answers to come in.
One of the things I'd really like to do is to give some really practical tips as to how people can get some real life help. So, you know, one of the things that people often say to me is that they're not sure what they're hearing. As a clairaudient, spontaneous clairvoyance is very rare. When it happens, I don't get them talking externally all day. I'd be crazier than I am. The way that they talk to you is in your mind voice, and the advice that they give is very down to earth, especially if you work with Michael, which we will be doing next month. He's about as practical as they come. He's like calling a plumber. He will tell you what you need. But one of the things that you can actually do is make very direct requests to spirit as an energy field. So actually asking spirit generically to clear your channel is going to allow the guidance, wherever it's coming from, your guides, your higher self, your mum, your nan, whoever it is, your dad, it allows it to filter through, because we get blocks. The pipes get backed up. Thank you. So very simply saying out loud, dearest spirit or dearest angels, doesn't matter which, or dearest spirit guides, please will you clear and remove all of the blocks in my spirit channel or in my angelic channel. You don't need to do anything else. If people made that simple request every day, you don't have to be anything other than in a human body to be able to hear your spirit guides. And that will come. It might come as a feeling. It might come as you hear a conversation, but the answers will come, and you'll know it. You will have a knowing accompanying the guidance. The other, when I sat and asked Michael, like, what other tip can I give people to get real life help to whatever problem's going on? Michael said, life supports us. And without going into the whole field of limiting beliefs, because, you know, that's endless, if you actually ask the universe to support you, it will. So, for example, if somebody had some problems with money, you would literally, and by verbalizing it, you're activating the frequency of sound and intention, and you're activating the emotional frequency as well. So you're like pressing those buttons on the lift. So what you would do is you would say, I now fully activate the energy of abundance. I am fully supported by the energy of abundance. If somebody's having relationship issues, if they're having issues within their marriage, or they're having issues with their boyfriend, you can say, I fully activate the support of love. I am now being supported by love. And literally, if you imagine yourself as a sponge, that energy starts to come into your aura. And as it starts to come into your aura, this isn't so much about angels. This is a tip from the angels. So you could be an atheist, although you probably wouldn't be listening to this. And it's universal consciousness. So I invite anybody that's having any kind of issues, activate the energy at the root of the issue. So if you're having health problems, I activate the energy of health. I'm fully supported by the energy of healing. When you affirm it, you activate it. So saying it once a day, twice a day is going to make a huge difference within as little as 2 weeks.
Yeah, brilliant. And it really is about saying thank you.
Yeah.
Trusting and believing that when you ask, when you request that support, you say thank you as if you've already received it. Because what you're doing is you are you're actually saying, do you know what, I'm trusting. I am totally trusting. And I don't hear voices, I don't see things, but there's no I've been given 60 something odd dragons names.
Wow.
Trust, because I trusted when the information, and they are not English names, folks. Those that know me, that have come across some of the dragon energy work that I've done, and the names of the dragons, they're not English.
No, I love dragons. I love them.
A real mixed bag. You just have to trust. And when you trust, it all opens up for you.
It does. And I think, you know, the hardest thing for people is that they're looking for a reason to trust. They want to. They read about Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction, but they've got no evidence of that. Otherwise, it would be easy. So I'm going to say, give up. I'm going to say, you know, just give up. And sometimes people have to get to that point where they've looked at it inside out and turned it on its head. And it's a shame when they get to that stage that they're tired, that's when they let go. And, you know, whatever energy it is you believe in, or whatever consciousness you are comfortable with, it is there to support you. So the other thing I wanted to say to you, this is another little tip for those that know they should trust but find it very hard. So I don't know whether you've ever experienced this, when you're talking to someone and you become aware of yourself talking to them. It's almost as if you've slightly stepped out of your body, or you're driving somewhere and you're not really aware that you've driven. You like arrive and you're like, oh my God, that's scary. So we want you, this is me and Michael, not you personally, we want everybody listening to this to activate the observer within them. If they're having a problem, or they've got a bunch of circumstances that are, you know, gathering momentum, and it's like, oh my God, what do I do? And you've got that emotion, those emotions, that fear energy, which is really out there between now and April. So you've got all that crap going on. What we're going to say is, at no level, because you've got fear, does it actually mean anything's wrong. It's energy moving. It's energy making its way out the front door, and that's going to be happening for a lot of people. What we're saying to you is, if you just can't trust, if you just can't let go because you can't, observe yourself having those emotions. Observe yourself doing the mental and then the emotional dance. By observing it, you actually unplug a part of you from involving yourself in the how do I sort this out? How do I make this better? And even if you can only do that for 25% of the time. So if you're worrying about money, you know, 50% of the day, if you become aware that you're worrying about money and you observe yourself worrying, and you make you have an awareness of, wow, I'm observing myself worrying, that is a part of your consciousness which the energies around you can use, because it's in non-resistance. So because it's observing, the angels, which is what I'm about, the angels will use that to bring forward new energy in. It's like adding another door to a car. So don't worry if you can't let go. Thank you. Michael is also saying, ask us for a perspective which allows you to rest. If you can't turn off the mind, and that's because we get into that loop, if you ask the angels, give me a way of looking at this so I can let go of it. Because once you let go, it literally is like the dust settling. Within 72 hours usually, energetically things will actually change. And depending on where your vibration is, within 3 weeks, usually most situations will change. You don't have to be happy all the time. So, right, neutrality is your best friend, Michael says. Okay, sorry, he talks more than I do. So that's just another thing we wanted to share.
So, but that's brilliant, because if you go into observing yourself, that part of you that's observing what is going on is not actually in the feeling of what's going on.
Yes.
So you've taken a part of you out, and it is so much about, and I know I have difficulty with it, folks. I think we all do. I don't think there's many out there that don't find we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Oh, we have
it.
Yes.
To experience these things. And folks, if you've got questions, because I've seen that we've got Dawn here, Elise.
Oh, let's have some questions
here, and Dina here. So we've got, people have said they're here. So please, if you've got questions, if you've got comments you want to make, please do write them in and make them.
I'm
we're quite happy to talk.
To do some on the spot readings if anybody's there. I don't do predictions though, but if anybody's got a question, would absolutely love to hear from you. Believe you me, Michael will be all only too happy to jump in and help. The other thing that Michael is saying here is that the reason that this energy is very much about fears coming up at the moment is so that you won't have to experience it anymore. This next year is a year of completion, and I'm saying certainly to everybody that I can see on here, you've all got situations completing successfully between April and June. We've got lots of new beginnings for the people here, and by April, people really are going to be feeling that the new energy is coming in. And actually, we've got one of my gorgeous girls here, my lovely Beth, who's mentioned the blue flame, and this is something I'd just like to mention as a tool to people. The blue flame is Michael's tool, Archangel Michael's tool, and it's basically truth and grace. It's the truth to admit what is needing to be changed, okay? And that's not about doing anything, it's about recognizing it, having the courage to recognizing that. The grace is then to let it go, because the blue flame doesn't ask anything of us but to recognize and release. Once we've released, your guides, certainly around May, June time, are able to bring in more opportunities, more rewards than people have had for like the last 9 years. This is a really powerful year. And so what I want to say to people is, if you're finding yourself feeling as though the walls are coming in and it feels as though your life is getting smaller, if it feels as though you're being bombarded by the darkness of others, I just want to say to anyone listening to this, you can ask Michael to bring the blue flame into your aura. All that you have to do is say, Michael, apply the blue flame and heal me with the blue flame. You don't need to meditate. It's really, really going to help move things along for you. Once you've asked, Spirit will do the rest. You don't need to know how, but you've got to ask.
And you've also got to trust that whatever that outcome is, it's the right outcome for you, even if it isn't what you're expecting. And because to me, blue Michael throat, it's about being honest.
Yes.
If you aren't, and let's put it this way, at the end of the day, folks, you can't lie to yourself.
No.
And you have to be honest with yourself. And when you're totally honest, that is when you can come to grips with the situation, so that you can let it go. And And it's let it go and let God, I think is what some people.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, the other thing is the human mind always comes up with the worst case scenario. And, you know, that worst case scenario ain't going to happen if you accept it. Because if it was going to happen, you'd be too busy dealing with it. You wouldn't have the luxury of worrying about it. Any person that's listening to this and thinks, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to prevent that from happening, don't try and prevent it. Michael really wants people to understand that we jump about 10 steps ahead. So when we've got a problem and we can't see the solution, we get ourselves in a you know, knickers in a twist kind of thing, and we trip over ourselves, and it's like tunnel vision. But what he wants people to know is if you ask him, he can actually accelerate the process, and he can make it easier. Michael can, and by the way, although I channel all the angels, I'm only working with Michael like 90% of the time. So it's like he's the one that's here tonight. He's saying to people, being brave is about understanding that you have control over the end experience, and you don't need to control it. You simply need to live in the day that you're in. If everybody, as much as they could rein back their worry and go, you know what, it's Tuesday afternoon, I don't really need to know whether I'm going to get married by Christmas Eve. I don't really need to know whether the man from accounts is my twin flame. It's Tuesday, and right now everything's okay. If people did that, those outcomes that they don't want would never ever happen. So loads of reassurance coming here.
Yeah, we've got some comments here. Charles has said the last blue flame really related to me, and he's thank you. And then Adriana has said, Sheila, you are light. Thank you for every single spark of light you are sending into the world. So, but it is so true. You can create a self-fulfilling prophecy. Actually, the more you worry about something, the more you concentrate your energies on it, the more you are actually likely to make it happen.
Yeah, you will.
If you actually let go and let God, let the angels, give it to the light with love, whatever. And even if it does come back with your worst case scenario, it
won't feel anywhere near as bad. It just won't.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to say, this is a really quick technique, and I can't take credit for this. I'm not taking credit for this at all. This was from an amazing book that I read by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer. And what you're advised to do is sit for just 2 minutes. And I'm a busy mum, so I do my energy work as I'm peeling potatoes or walking the dog. Just sit for 2 minutes and breathe in white light. Imagine that you are, I don't know if anyone used to watch Panorama with the man like that, the naked man on the circle, right? Yeah. Imagine that you are not a naked man, but imagine that you are filled with light. Then when you filled yourself with light, on the in-breath, on the out-breath, more and more light coming in, imagine turning on the light so that the light becomes crystalline. It becomes absolutely blazing. Then what you're going to do is you're going to imagine that light turns into an arrow, okay, like an arrow in front of you. With your heart, imagine there's an arrow in front of your heart space. Send that light out like a rocket and see it covering the area that's worrying you. So see that light covering your bank balance, see it covering your marriage, see it covering your business. You don't need to know how it's going to evolve. If people did that once a day, the situations they are struggling with, honestly, they're just going to be not a problem for you anymore. It works. It works. I know it sounds woo-woo, but it does really work.
But I think it is going back to that word trust, isn't it? It is, if you are throwing positive energies, if you're throwing love, whatever you want to call it, if you're chucking positive out there, what you resist persists.
Absolutely.
Because what you're resisting is what you're concentrating on. When you concentrate on a positive, on the thing that makes you smile, the thing that makes you laugh, the thing that brings you that lovely splash of color, that beautiful bird in the garden, that whatever it is, when you concentrate on the positive in life, when something goes wrong, if you find the good, the positive in that, and let go of all the negative stuff, it makes a huge difference.
What I love about what you've just said is it's like filling up a karmic piggy bank with IOUs. So let's say that somebody's car has broken down and they don't quite know how they're going to pay the garage to get it fixed. If you went, okay, well, that's the case, and I know a beautiful person that this happened to. So what I would advise is, honestly, go do anything other than worry about the car, which is what you're saying. Every moment that you spend or are able to spend, because you're not going to be able to trip through the daisies all the time, but for every moment that you are able to appreciate something, whether it's, the builder with the nice bum, whether it is, I don't know, a Brad Pitt film. Anyway, whatever it is you're appreciating, the beautiful morning, it's like an energetic piggy bank. All that energy, if you imagine that literally you're putting golden coins in there, your guides will use that energy because it is the energy of blessing. So when they say count your blessings, you count them and deposit them. Your guides will spend them on your behalf. So what I will say is, anything that you can do which uplifts you, even for 60 seconds, is going to be energy that they will use to resolve your problems. And the greatest thing is, you don't need to have a clue how that's going to happen. Just give them permission to sort it out. And have you ever done that? Have you ever visualized handing something over, Sarah?
No, I haven't. But I haven't
even like not with the angels, but with the dragons. I mean, how do you do this with the dragons?
I am one of these people. I just have to trust. I am in total trust. When I work with the energy of Reiki, I don't feel anything. I just totally trust that what the individual requires, the individual receives. I stay detached from the outcome. When I first started receiving messages from the mythical realm, it was just like, me? You're kidding. And I have to sit with pen and paper. And if I try and think about what's coming through, it stops. But if I just trust and write, it comes through. I am literally one of these people that has to be in trust.
Yeah.
And actually, do you know what? I feel so blessed to, don't get me wrong, I'd love to hear Michael. I'd love to hear my dragon. I'd love to see them. Yes, I would. I'd be a liar if I said any different. But do you know, I really do feel blessed that I am able to trust all of it.
And you know what? The person, as somebody that teaches people, I remember tutoring someone many moons ago who was able to hear all the time externally. He didn't trust it. And what a waste. So I'm going to say, if I could have one gift, it wouldn't be to see or hear, it would be to trust, because without that, you might as well hang your coat up and go home, you know? And everybody has got the ability, and this is coming out in my book in March, everybody has got the ability to connect with their guides and be guided to their life purpose, you know, whether you're 7 or 79. And I love what you said about the writing down. I mean, I use my computer screen. If you ask a question and literally copy down the words that you hear your mind voice say, and I personally leave it for 24 hours before I go back and read it. But if when you go back and read it, I bet you're quite astounded a few days later. At the time, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's anything but you. That's all channeling is. You are channeling, Sarah. There's no way that you're not.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And there've been a couple of pieces I've written over the last few months for some online magazines that I write for, and I've come back and thought, where did that come from? You know, and it's wonderful. It really is. So
Yeah.
we can all do it. Yes, even me, and there's still an element of me
especially you. Everybody can, and everybody should. I was listening to an amazing guy called Lee Harris. He's amazing. And, you know, he says, you know, there are born psychics, mediums. I don't identify with being a psychic or a medium. I identify with being a soul development teacher. But the point is, he says, you are a soul because you're in a body. Therefore, you've got the ability to connect to spirit. And if anybody tells you that you're doing it wrong, you're just not doing it in the way that's right for them. You can't connect with spirit wrong. Nobody can. And proof is definitely not required, or we hope it wouldn't be required. And when you don't need, right, thank you. Michael says, you know that you're channeling higher guidance when you feel calm or you feel uplifted and it's flowing. If it's flowing, whether you're speaking it, singing it, drawing it, baking it, you know, Picasso was a channel, Freddie Mercury was a channel, William Wordsworth was a channel. It isn't about, it's channeling divine energy, and every single person in the world has got the ability to do it. Children do it all the time. The pictures they do, the Mother's Day cards they do. If that isn't channeling, I don't know what is. Except if you're my daughter. Who has a thing about Cybermen.
Right, we've got a couple of comments here. For I think it's Marika. Sheila, I love listening to you and had a very helpful Skype session with you a few weeks ago. Thank you for what you do. And Patricia's in La Paz in Mexico, so she's one of our regulars. Thank you for the light and love sent through this webinar. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Sarah. And she's called you Maria.
Oh, that's all right. No, absolutely great. And you know, I just think it's wonderful that there are mediums like this out there for people to connect, because I think sometimes, you know, actually where I live, there are some lovely people, but nobody that's interested in what I do. And I think that healing TV and you know, the internet is such a wonderful place for light workers to come together, because we are all in this together, and every single person who grows their own light, that you don't have to save the world. If you concentrate on working with yourself, your energy will spread. And that's something that the angels want to say. If everybody made themselves as happy as they could in the life that they have, oh my God, so many disasters would never come to pass.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, Sheila, I know that you've got an offer for folks, and I'm going to put the link up. So do you want to explain what that is, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, I have got a 7-day magical journey, and it is called Grounding Your Magic, and it's available at my website. And what this journey does, it's a 7-day video series where you're going to be connecting with your guides, you're going to be having healings, you're going to be finding out what your soul wants you to know. You're going to learn lots of different things. The only downside is you're going to have to listen to my voice, but you can always hit pause. So that is free, and it's at my website. And you know, if anybody wants to find out about their life purpose or what the angels want them to know, then get in touch.
Brilliant, brilliant. And how long is that course available for?
It's indefinite. It's free. It's available as you sleep. It's there now. I have some other things on there. I've got a workshop called Assisted by the Angels. The Assisted by the Angels workshop is an hour and a half of working with, you'll be taught how to read angel cards. You'll be taught how to clear your energy with a pendulum. You'll be receiving an attunement. So if you want to dive into the world of angels, and of course we've got my book coming out, Living Your Life Purpose with the Angels, in March. And I'll be telling everybody about that nearer the time.
But we've also got your own little series, because folks, Sheila Maria is going to be Sheila Maria TV. So if you look at the website now, I've just put the link up to Sheila's offer. That's on the side. Folks, those of you that are watching either the replay or the YouTube video, if the YouTube video's up pretty quickly, I'll make sure it's on tonight. I'm going to go and make sure it's on the About Us page of the Gift of Healing TV website, so that you can go and find the link. But it's up here on the screen at the moment for those of you who are with us live now. So please, but Sheila Maria is going to be doing her own. At the moment, it's 3 program starting on the 1st of February. If you go onto the giftofhealingtv.com website, you will actually be able to find her at the top with everything else that we're sharing. We're sharing lots and lots on Gift of Healing TV at the moment. So please go in and look and see what's there. And now, what have we got coming up? So we've got Sheila Marie coming up on the 1st of February with the first of her 3. And it's Michael you're working with, isn't it?
Yeah, and I will be channeling Michael live. So if you're interested in a reading, if you want some energy clearing, Michael's very straight. He does just take me over and speak through me. So we'll be giving practical tips. By now, people probably understand it is practical is what I do. And then the second program is Gabriel, so I'll be channeling Gabriel live. She usually has quite a lot to say as well. And then last but not least, we've got the gorgeous Jophiel, the Sunshine Angel, who'll be leading us into the spring.
Brilliant, brilliant. And next week, folks, 19th, we have got Patricia Iris Kerrin's next show, and on the 20th, I was literally giving this today. It's a rainbow chakra exercise. So following on from the rainbow meditation that I was given for this week, for last week, sorry, I'm getting really confused with my days of the week at the moment. So we've got a couple of programs for you next week, but there's no program Wednesday this week, folks. We're going alternate weeks, Mondays and Wednesdays at the moment, but who knows, everything's changing. And Dawn says, I've learned a lot from listening to you today. Thank you. And a huge thank you. Dawn's one of our regulars. A huge thank you to you, Sheila, for joining us tonight. Folks, I hope you will go onto the website. You will click onto Sheila's website. You'll click onto Gift of Healing TV. You'll find out what else is coming up with Sheila, with ourselves. Join us again. We like having a bit of fun. And we love the technology. It doesn't always work properly, but we're here for you. It's very real. We're real. So have a great week. Sheila, any final words?
I just want to say, go out there and do it, guys. You're all amazing. You've all got amazing talents and abilities. And Michael's putting a rocket up your bum and he says, get on with it. Yes, you're here to do it. And you all know what that it is.
Oh, Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, all of you, for being here. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. We'll see you again next week. Love, peace, and light to you all. Namaste.